saying, both of the guys are very skillful, very talented.
Absolutely.
And my opinion about what I think they are don't really make the fight.
Right, absolutely.
It's how them guys fight that night. We both of us know that both of the fighters are great fighters. So, it's just who can actually make the move that's
Terence Crawford has now involved former undisputed world heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield in his preparation for the Canelo fight, just when we thought gaining access into Mike Tyson's boxing gym was enough. Clearly, Terence Crawford means business, and he isn't taking any of Canelo Alvarez's threats lightly. When boxing legends like Holyfield come around, you don't work out, you listen. And that was what Crawford did for the most parts of Holyfield's visit, except for the time when he tried to do some shadow boxing and pad punching while Holyfield watched. Crawford means this fight with the whole of his life, and he's set to give it his very best. One man who also knows what it is like to be undisputed in multiple divisions is Evander Holyfield, after he accomplished it at both cruiserweight and heavyweight during his career. And that's the more reason for his meeting with Crawford. Holyfield has offered his take for how he feels the Canelo versus Crawford fight will go, revealing to Fight Hub TV that he thinks it will be a step too far for Crawford. It's going to be hard to beat Canelo. He's real basic but a good fighter, but Crawford has what it takes.
That's necessary and get the guy before you get got. And so, that's the art of the game of boxing. It's about how you going to proceed to take it from it, but finding a way how to take it from it. If you just as strong as me, and you just as fast as me, I know I just can't run up there in the counterweight. Cause can't nobody run up from me that in the counterweight, because they gonna get it.
Absolutely.
And so, this gonna be a technical fight that both these guys will find out what.
Crazy like that before. He just said he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to do it.
You posted the other day, there's a picture of you in a Rolls Royce, and you said, the quote is, "I can't remember how many of these I gave away." Tell me about that.
Yes, I don't know. I guess when you used to having money, it's when I had one, you're not accustomed to that shit, man.
Yeah, but not every...
According to Holyfield, while he is an exceptionally skilled fighter with formidable punching power, Canelo sometimes shows signs of exhaustion in fights that go the distance. Mike Tyson cited the fight against Bivol as an instance. This can lead to decreased precision and power in his punches, which can be exploited by opponents who are able to survive the early rounds and capitalize on Canelo's fatigue in the later stages of the fight. Additionally, Canelo's defensive skills can be inconsistent at times, leaving him open to opponents' attacks due to lapses in concentration or overly aggressive movements.
is hosting a big night rugby today.
They never let us down, bro. It's a great show.
It will be a tough one today, huh?
Yeah, I think it'll be tough.
What are you rooting for?
Everyone wants to know what you're going to do to Jake Paul in a few months' time.
This inconsistency in defense can be a problem against opponents like Crawford, who are skilled at landing precise shots and capitalizing on their opponent's mistakes, Holyfield claimed. Another area where Canelo can be vulnerable is against opponents with good footwork and movement. He has visibly struggled to keep up with fighters who use good footwork and movement, such as Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant. Canelo's own style tends to be more straightforward and aggressive, which can make it difficult for him to adapt to opponents who are constantly moving and creating angles.
Hey Mike, Canelo Crawford. Crawford's in the building. Canelo fights this weekend. What do you think of that fight?
Where's the fight gonna be at?
Well, they say in Vegas, maybe in September, but Canelo's got to get through.
Furthermore, Canelo's flat-footed style can also be a liability against certain opponents, particularly those with quick footwork and the ability to create angles.
What do you say? I said Crawford too. It's really a pick'em fight. I'm just interested. I'm gonna be happy either way.
He possesses extraordinary boxing skills, including powerful punching, excellent counter-punching abilities, and sharp head and body movement. His intense training regimen is tailored to his specific needs, including long-distance running to build endurance, boxing-specific drills to refine his technique, and sparring sessions to prepare him for the rigors of a fight.
Watching right now, you keeping your eye on like a Crawford or anybody like that?
I just came from Crawford's last fight.
In LA?
Yes.
You went to it. What'd you think?
I thought that was a tough guy, and that guy gave, you know what I mean? I'm glad that he came back the last 2 rounds. You know, that guy was very awkward and strong.
Super awkward.
Yeah, and this guy fights anybody. Crawford fights anybody.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, you know, because you got to look good in order for you won't mess.
Canelo's team carefully selects sparring partners to match the style and physical attributes of his next opponent, allowing him to refine his skills and build confidence. This meticulous approach to training has enabled him to adapt to different fighting styles and weight classes, making him a formidable opponent in the ring. Canelo's success is also due to his unwavering commitment to his craft, continually adapting and improving his skills to stay ahead of the competition. He has demonstrated an unrelenting passion for boxing, always striving to be better and push himself to new heights.
Up your next fight, because if you fight this guy, you don't look good. The fans say, I don't want. He's not gonna look good at winning with this guy. You gotta constantly have fights that you know and fight a guy that's gonna make you look good. The guy gotta pressure you or something. You know, this guy's running around. Crawford's not used to this kind of movement and
Weird
stuff.
fit.
Yeah, awkward as a motherfucker.
Are you ready? You think the world's ready for?
His mental toughness is another key factor in his success, as he has shown resilience in the face of adversity, learning from setbacks, and using them as opportunities for growth and improvement. Whether he's facing a tough opponent or dealing with the pressures of being a champion, Canelo's mental fortitude has allowed him to stay focused and driven. This combination of physical skill, strategic training, and mental toughness has enabled Canelo Alvarez to become a world-class boxer, with a record-breaking career marked by multiple world championships in 4 weight classes. Initially, when he was asked about the matchup, former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson immediately spoke out about the possibility of a fight between Canelo and Crawford, and disagreed with such a fight, especially because of the aforementioned weight difference between the two fighters. Mike Tyson revealed on the It Is What It Is podcast that he believes the huge weight difference between the fighters will be crucial.
What do you think about Terence Crawford calling out Canelo?
You know, I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight, you know. And
You know I don't like that fight. I don't like that fight. For him, the weight difference seemed quite annoying. It's a lot of weight, Tyson said. And to reaffirm his statement, Tyson recalled the fight between Crawford and Israel Madrimov in August 2024, when Crawford reigned as welterweight champion and moved up to 154 pounds. The fight went to a decision, something that has happened very little since 2016, but now Crawford would have to move up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo. So, in Tyson's eyes, he shouldn't be fighting that guy.
he had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Terence, because this guy was big and he was awkward. He was really awkward. He shouldn't have fought that guy. Right. Should have fought a guy that would just come straight at him. The guy was too awkward.
He's herky-jerky. Yeah.
However, despite his initial reaction to Crawford stepping up to face Canelo in what is a huge ask for the 37-year-old, Iron Mike appears to have now made a U-turn on this, as he claims his eyes means nothing. There's been men that have beat people. They're beating people bigger than them, 2 divisions bigger than them. It's not impossible. Henry Armstrong was a featherweight, and he beat the middleweight champ. At 130 pounds, he beat the welterweight champ. Then he fought a draw with the middleweight champ. So I think size means nothing, but determination means everything. There were already signs that Iron Mike Tyson had changed his mind after he agreed to a statement Keyshawn Davis made about him, Terence Crawford and Shakur Stevenson staying undefeated.
We the best boxers in the town. We the best boxers. Stop playing, bro. We got Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Bud Crawford. We the best. Stop playing. Who can beat us? Nobody. Stop playing. We got Mike Tyson right here.
This was at the Fatal Fury card where Rolly Romero won his championship fight against Ryan Garcia at Times Square, New York. Nobody can beat us. We are the best boxers, shouted an excited Keyshawn Davis in the streets of Manhattan, referring to himself, Shakur, and Crawford, a statement that Iron Mike supported, knowing that the announcement of the biggest challenge of Terence Crawford's career was approaching. So he joined in the euphoria of the moment. It will be a great success.
We got Mike Tyson. We are the best. We the best fighters right here. Stop playing. Yeah.
And it's not the first time that Tyson has referred to Crawford, whom he considers a versatile boxer, who will undoubtedly do much more against Canelo than William Skull, a woeful show that seemed more like a long-distance race than a boxing match on a morning to forget in Riyadh. This is what the legendary Tyson said. Terence Crawford has shown over the years that he is a great, versatile boxer. He is going to be very successful. Great success. He moved on speaking about Crawford's strength. He said, Terence Crawford's success can be attributed to his unmatched versatility in the ring.
Canelo versus Skull?
Canelo did what he had to do to get the victory.
What do you want next? It seems like that's going to be the fight. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, the biggest fight in boxing.
Well, Canelo's the face of boxing. He's the best fighter for Terence Crawford out there. He's the biggest fight for Terence Crawford out there. So that's why Terence Crawford want to take the opportunity to share a ring with another great.
How do you beat him?
You'll see.
His ability to seamlessly switch between orthodox and southpaw stances makes him a nightmare to face, allowing him to create angles, confuse opponents, and exploit weaknesses. This unique skill set enables him to adapt to different fighting styles and capitalize on his opponent's mistakes. Crawford's lightning-quick speed is another key factor in his success. His hand speed and footwork are among the best in the sport, enabling him to land quick combinations and evade punches with ease, Mike Tyson pointed. Crawford's exceptional ring generalship is also a major contributor to his success. He has a keen sense of spatial awareness, which allows him to control the pace and distance of a fight.
Come 12.
Everyone's talking about the weight differences. What's your kind of response to that, Terence?
That's why we fight the fight. So September 12th, we all going to see if the weight going to make a difference or not.
Do you want to fight him twice and then retire? Is that kind of the ideal thing?
One fight at a time, one fight at a time.
What did you make of, I know you didn't say much on tonight, the effectiveness of William Skull? He came to decision as opposed to win the fight. Would you agree with that?
Crawford uses his jab, footwork, and ring movement to dictate the terms of the bout, making it difficult for his opponents to mount a successful attack. His ability to adjust his strategy mid-fight is another testament to his skill and intelligence as a fighter. Whether he's facing a pressure fighter or a boxer-puncher, Crawford's adaptability enables him to stay one step ahead of his opponents. Furthermore, Crawford's dedication to his craft is evident in his rigorous training regimen. He puts in the hard work necessary to maintain his high level of skill, including intense sparring, conditioning, and technical drills. His commitment to continuous improvement has enabled him to stay at the top of his game and achieve great success in the world of boxing.
No, he was boxing well, and then he just stopped doing what he was doing earlier. I don't know. I can't call it.
Do you think Canelo slipped as a fighter?
No, I don't. I just think that, William was doing a good job neutralizing Canelo power punches. He was just moving a lot.
Do you think that's a style you have to employ in points of the fight?
I don't know, because if you watch the styles that beat him, they didn't move a lot. They moved a little bit, but not as...
With his unique combination of speed, versatility, ring generalship, and dedication, Crawford has established himself as one of the most skilled and formidable fighters in the sport. However, Mike Tyson would be unfair to avoid Crawford's weaknesses, as he had earlier pointed out Canelo's weaknesses. Terence Crawford's weaknesses are relatively few, but they can be significant in certain situations, he said. One area where Crawford tends to struggle is when fighting on the back foot against aggressive opponents who build up pressure.
So, along my career, I've been criticized and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments, just off of pure hate. So, what would they be able to say with me going up 2 weight classes?
This was evident in his fights against Kell Brook and Egidijus Kavaliauskas, where he had trouble handling their relentless attacks. When faced with fighters who are constantly coming forward and applying pressure, Crawford can sometimes find himself scrambling to keep up and defend against the onslaught. This can lead to moments of vulnerability and potentially even take away from his own offense. Another potential weakness for Crawford is his susceptibility to body shots. Due to his tendency to keep a high guard when blocking shots, he can leave himself open to shots to the body.
If Canelo become undisputed again and I beat Canelo, what could they say? They'll say something, but what
they're gonna find something, you know that.
But what can they really say?
Right.
You know? So that's the legacy fight right there for me. I'm not looking at a lot.
The body shots didn't seem to have a significant impact on Crawford's performance in that fight, but it's an area where he might be vulnerable in the future, especially against opponents who can effectively target the body and wear him down over the course of a fight. Overall, while Crawford's skills and adaptability make him a formidable opponent, these weaknesses are worth noting for anyone looking to match up against him. Sean Porter, who knows quite well what Crawford could do, says he is concerned.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know. So I think, if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion.
It's a tough fight to predict, no doubt. Just look at Crawford's dominant performance against an elite-level boxer like Errol Spence Jr. Regardless, speaking to Marcos Villegas from Fight Hub TV, Porter commented on Crawford climbing 2 divisions and the power difference that exists between the boxers fighting in 2 different weight classes. I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds, Porter confessed. However, Porter had an interesting analysis, suggesting Canelo would eventually slow down as he had done in most of his recent fights.
A lot of people say, oh, well, he's money hungry, he's looking at money and he's trying to cash out and this and that. I've been getting money for years. I've been getting millions for years. And I'm not stupid with my money. As you can see, I don't buy no Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and, you know what I mean, walk around with 100 people around me and got all this jewelry that I bought. Like, I don't do all that stuff.
So it led Porter to believe Canelo would start the fight on the front foot and bang on Crawford and break him down before the late rounds, when he won't have the energy while Crawford would. Even so, Sean Porter didn't seem convinced that he had the answer to who would emerge victorious, claiming, "But there's so many components that make a champion." It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all the components that Terence Crawford has.
There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know?
Sean Porter, who was stopped by Crawford in the 10th round of their 147 title bout, disagrees that Canelo Alvarez has the advantage here. He told Fight Hype that his former opponent has many advantages against an aging Canelo. You have to get your mind out of the space of who's stronger. Boxing ain't just about strength. Who's smarter? Who's more athletic? Who's faster? Who's got more stamina? Who's got more experience? The list goes on. You add all that up and you think, wow, a lot is actually on Terence's side. I actually think that fight would be really interesting. I think that Canelo is not who he was 3-4 years ago. I wouldn't say he's declining fast, but his career is definitely not going up, and he hasn't done this level in 2 or 3 years. It ain't a fast decline, but Canelo's certainly not who he used to be. A fight between them would be interesting and definitely competitive.
I actually think that a fight between Terence and Canelo would be really interesting.
Crawford going up to 168 to face Canelo.
I think that Canelo is not who he was 3 or 4 years ago. Really wouldn't say he's declining, definitely not fast, but I mean, his career is definitely not doing this. And it hasn't done this in 2 or 3 years. So obviously it ain't a fast decline, but Canelo's certainly just not who he used to be. Terence Crawford, you imagine he's probably training at 160, which means his body is not foreign to being as high as 165.
The city of Las Vegas will be the scene of one of the most anticipated fights of the year. Terence Crawford and Saul Canelo Alvarez will face each other on September 12th in a clash between undisputed champions that promises to go down in the history of modern boxing. Despite the fact that Canelo is the favorite, there are some experts who trust in the talent of Bud, despite the weight difference. Although Canelo is the favorite, Crawford is the undisputed champion in 3 divisions, so more than a fight, it is a fight for legacy. Some, like former boxer Tim Bradley, believe that Bud's style will be difficult to decipher for Canelo, who made it clear that he struggles against slippery opponents in his last fight against William Skull.
People say, oh, well, maybe it was the weight or whatever the case is. What do you think about that? Like, talking about the weight at 154?
Well, I wasn't worried about that. I felt stronger than him. Mm-hmm. You know, I felt that I punched harder than him. I felt as if I hurt him many of times in the fight.
Yeah.
But I just felt like, you know, he came prepared and he was ready and he fought a good fight.
Yeah.
He was awkward. He was patient. He was.
A former world champion in 3 divisions, Tony is remembered for his bold leap to heavyweight, where he shocked the world by stopping Evander Holyfield. Now, he's placing his faith in Crawford, and he's not holding back. In an interview with Ease News, Tony made his position clear, dismissing concerns about the size gap between the 2 fighters.
You told me. I told you I'm a fight doctor. The new improved fight doctor.
Right, you nailed it. You said Crawford would wash Spence.
It happened.
It was a decapitation.
Yes, it was. But you know what? Terence Crawford is a incredible fighter. And it would be hard to beat him. Anybody at 154 or even 60 or even 68. But the Mexican monster, he's crazy. I love him.
I got Terence Crawford, all about skills. They all said that size difference when I fought Evander Holyfield. They all said that, he recalled. For Tony and others who believe in Crawford's talent, the challenge is real, but so is the opportunity.
David Benavidez, they're fighting. I don't see nobody beating him at light heavyweight.
With Crawford's recent win, he's been asking for Canelo.
Easy win.
He'll beat Canelo.
Easy win.
Masterclass?
Same thing.
You think he could potentially
just... Same thing.
Same ending?
Shut up. Same thing. Trust me. Trust me.
Canelo's dominance at 168 pounds is no fluke. Since making his debut in the division with the demolition of Rocky Fielding in 2018, the Guadalajara native has taken on and defeated some of the best in the business. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.